Loves, welcome back to my channel. Today guys, I'll be checking out this interesting video from Matt Walsh, and it's titled Black Restaurant Manager Response to Criticism by Pulling Race Card. You guys, I'm super excited for this. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what this video is all about.
For whatever reason, former NFL star Randy Moss recently opened a fried chicken restaurant in Huntington, West Virginia. Now, sadly, it would seem the restaurant was not well received by the community. Customers left bad reviews online, complaining, from what I can tell, I read some of the reviews, that the food is too bland, the prices are too high, the service is too slow, and strangely enough, the place doesn't seem to carry ketchup, according to a lot of the reviews.
Wow.
Now, as an avowed ketchup skeptic myself, I don't find this last point to be a problem, but the other points certainly are. And to sum it up in the words of one customer named Connor, who left a Google review, the chicken was nothing to ride home about. And yes, that is ride as in R-I-D-E. Connor is saying that he wouldn't ride all the way home on his bicycle to tell his family and friends about this chicken. Chicken's okay, it's not something to ride home about. Now, overall, the restaurant got at least one, possibly two, thumbs down from many of its patrons. So how would the manager of this establishment respond to this criticism? Would he take the feedback to heart? Would he come up with a better chicken recipe? Would he work with his employees to improve their service? Would he lower prices? Would he start stocking ketchup? Would he ensure that it's the kind of place Connor would want to ride home about? No, of course not. Instead, he accused his customers of racism. Here's the local news report.
What was supposed to be a positive development in the heart of Huntington has turned into controversy after accusations of racism and discrimination went viral on social media.
We're talking about Crispy's Chicken. It's the restaurant owned by NFL Hall of Famer Randy Moss. But as 13 News reporter Jordan Meade tells us, the manager of the restaurant says the community isn't supporting the business, and he claims it has nothing to do with the food.
The original video.
Great energy, great food. Randy Moss took his time out, invested his money.
That sparked it all.
But since we've been here for the past few months, it has been nothing but negativity from the community not supporting.
That's the manager of Crispy's Chicken, a fast food restaurant in Huntington. In the video posted just last week, he lashes out at the community, saying their criticism goes beyond the food and service.
Wow. The entire community is filled with negativity. Being an African-American company, this is what we deal with on a regular basis. Unfortunate, we're not the other color, which is unfortunate to you guys, because if we were the other color, I'm sure it would get a lot more respect.
After the backlash from his post, the manager, who would only tell us his first name, called out a local host of a podcast to do an interview.
We tried to be positive and having a positive effect on the community, but he just wasn't having it.
But from that interview came more controversy.
What did our community do? They tore us down, like they always do. The African-American community, we are known to tear each other down. The Chinese is not known for it.
Wow.
The Europeans, nobody else is known for it.
That's something that Talk Huntington host David Williams, who goes by the on-air name of Alligator Jackson, says he tried to de-escalate while addressing complaints. 13 News spoke to Kurt today. He doubled down on his statements.
Anybody that misunderstood what I said on that video, you have to think. It was clear as day what I said. It was clear. It was clear that that's what African Americans been going through for centuries.
Okay, I forgot to mention he's also the marketing director. It said on the, it said there that this is the marketing campaign. I mean, it's one way to market your product, to yell at your customers and tell them to stop being mean to you.
Wow, you guys, that's such a funny one. And I don't know the person that told the manager that the way he is going about is the best way to approach the failure in his business. Because the best thing he would have done is to work on what is missing in his recipe, or change his recipe entirely, so that he can come up with more delicious meals, so that when someone have a bite of that particular meal, they'll just do a free advert for him. You don't need to go and pay a huge amount of money in ad. Instead, put that money into learning how to better your meal, and at the end of the day, people will give their best review about what you are offering them. The approach this manager is using is not the best, and I don't even think that after this video has gone viral, it's still going to get better. If the meal he's giving out to the public doesn't get better, let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think this manager should work on to attract new customers to his business? Leave all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and let's wrap this video up, you guys.
Now, this is not even the end of the news report, but there's so much to cover that we had to stop it there. First, most importantly, there is a local podcast host in Huntington, West Virginia, who goes by the name Alligator Jackson. Now, that to me is the real headline here. The reporter breezes by it as if it's just a random bit of trivia, but I want to hear more about, Alligator Jackson's podcast. I did investigate the situation on my own. I found Alligator Jackson's YouTube channel. It's called Talk Huntington. It has 20 subscribers, 3 videos so far. It looks like it's just getting started, a real bootstrap operation. I encourage you to go and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on news out of Huntington, or even if you don't. And second, almost as important, what is going on with the crispy chicken mascot? Let's put that up on the screen again, because I just stared at this thing trying to figure out what's happening. It appears to be, from what I can tell, like a penguin in the shape of a bomb. It's a penguin with a fuse on it as the mascot for a fast food chicken place.
Oh my God.
And that's your problem right there. That's why you aren't getting the business you want. People look at that mascot, they're so confused that they just stand there staring at it until the place is closed. And to make matters worse, it doesn't even say chicken anywhere on the signage outside. All we see is the penguin bomb
crispy.
and the word crispy, spelled as weirdly as possible, by the way, and no mention of chicken. People are confused. That's the issue. And then they go inside. There's no ketchup. Now they're really befuddled. They can't ride home about it. I mean, they don't even know which way is home at this point. And third, finally, Kurt, the manager, says that he is the victim of racism. He says, of course, in fact, that this is what Black Americans have been going through for centuries. Specifically, they've been going through the trauma of people leaving negative Google reviews for centuries. Who can forget Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, decrying the racist abuses of the Google review system? But let's really think about Kurt's theory of the case here. And I do not intend to engage in any form of stereotyping. I am the last person to ever say anything racially insensitive, as you all know. But with that said, are you really trying to tell us, Kurt, that customers are less likely to support a fried chicken place if it's run by a black guy? I mean, that seems a bit like a gay Broadway star claiming that the audience hates his latest production because they're homophobic. I mean, the simple act of purchasing a ticket to a Broadway show already demonstrates a certain tolerance of the gay community, I would think. And a similar logic applies to Kurt and his chicken restaurant. Still, the racism defense is reflexive for some people. I mean, why else would this man's restaurant get such a poor reception? Why else would anyone say anything bad about him or about anything associated with him, if not for racism? I think the good thing about this story, aside from the fact that it introduced the world to Alligator Jackson, is that it so plainly reveals the deeper, more personal motivations for many of these race hustlers. For a guy like Kurt, shouting racism it's a rationalization. It's a coping mechanism. Now, to be clear, I don't say this to justify the erroneous racism claims, of course. I don't mean that you should view Kurt in a better light because of this. I just mean to point out that people these days cry racism constantly because blaming things on racism shields them from the harsher realities of life. It's their way of explaining their failures to the world and, more importantly, to themselves. It can be difficult to accept that you're suffering a setback as a result of your own poor performance. It's hard to face the fact that people are responding poorly to you because they disapprove of your behavior or they don't like what you've done or because they just don't like you personally. It's tough to listen to criticism of your work or your character. Nobody wants to believe that their lack of success in life is a result of their own inadequacies. Nobody wants to accept that they've come up short or failed to gain all the success they desire or any of the success they desire simply because they're not good enough. These are hard realities to face. It's much easier mentally and emotionally to tell yourself that it's all because of racism. And in that lies, for many people, the attraction to the racism narrative. Now, there are a lot of reasons why false racism claims are so common in our culture. The Kurts of the world have various motivations, some of them more political and ideological, but at the core of this issue is this: lots of people whose lives are not working out the way they want, telling themselves this story of their own martyrdom. And in Kurt's case, I'm a victim of a racist conspiracy is a fantasy that he prefers over the true story, which is that his restaurant sucks and nobody likes it. After all, it's better to be a martyr than to be mediocre. And that is why Kurt from Crispy Chicken is sadly today canceled.
Wow, you guys, that was such an interesting one from Matt Walsh. And what court needs to work on is developing a better recipe and leave racism the heck alone, because racism does not have anything to do with your meal being delicious. If what is delivering to the public is as delicious as they come, I bet nobody will want to know if it is owned by a black man or if it is owned by a white man. All they care about, all the public care about, is to get their money's worth. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about this? Would you go to try out this restaurant after hearing about it? To find out if truly what people are saying about it is the truth, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.